Now, these cops in Texas was actually messing with this man. And, like, this dude was, like, actually, like, actually being, like, just, like, protecting himself from getting arrested illegally or whatever, whatnot. Because, like, they was, like, dude was trying to arrest him, trying to put handcuffs on him for no reason or whatsoever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so he up there, like, pulled, I think it was a taser or a blick out on him right after he got, like, got him a bubble or whatever, whatnot. For real though. Or, like, trying to put handcuffs on this dude or whatever, whatnot. And I'm talking about the brother. The brother out there, like, got the cop off or whatever, whatnot. For real though. Anyway, so the cop was up there just telling him to get down on the ground, and then he go ask him for his identification. And he don't know what he want from him. He want him to get down on the ground or, like, get his identification. And then when his partner show up, his partner then even, like, talk to dude, didn't even socialize to dude. He just grabbed him by his neck, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, just grabbed him by his arm and just, like, well, actually, he, like, grabbed him by the waist and then he slammed him down on the grass. This man, like, was actually fumbling, like, trying to get, like, they was actually trying to get on him or whatever, when I trying to get the handcuffs on him or whatever, when I, they was up there struggling. They was struggling for real. They couldn't even, like, get the brother down or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Bro, no, and that's on, bro. Anyway, so now, this judge, like, got jealous because, like, he actually figured that, like, the black brothers is, like, taking each other out better than the KKK did or whatever, whatnot. And that's crazy. And he was, like, he said he was sick of it because why he, like, I think he liked it, like, the way when, like, the like KKK did their thing or whatever, whatnot. But shoot, he got jealous because, like, the brothers is doing a thing for them by taking each other out or whatever, whatnot. And that's some crazy stuff, and that's on, bro. Anyway, now this nun, she got detained, like, and try to walk to this, like, try to walk to this, like, thing or whatever, whatnot. She was trying to go to, like, a Sunday mass or whatever, whatnot. She got detained because, like, they wanted to, like, detain her or whatever because, like, yeah, they thought she was an immigrant or whatever, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But they end up letting her go. And that's like, something else or whatever, whatnot. And, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it wasn't, like, positive or nothing like that, but thank goodness no harm that happened to her or nothing like that. For real though, because it could have went like that. It could have went that way. For real though, and that's all, bro. Anyway, now this pastor, like, had somebody executed right in the church in front of these kids on Sundays in Sunday school or whatever, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy as ever. I mean, like, a whole bunch of dudes just came out with blicks and blicked him down right in front of those kids or whatsoever. And, like, they out there, like, trying to say, like, it's the, like, love of God or whatever and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? To make them give in to love or whatever. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, they just, like, actually placed the, like, actually did an execution in front of these kids or whatever and whatnot. That wasn't fake. That was real. The kids thought it was staged. The kids thought it was a show. For real though. So they was up there saying, blow them up, blow them away, blow them away, blow them away. And yeah, because them kids thought it was a show or whatever, whatnot. But that wasn't no show at all. That was an execution. That was an execution for real. Because, like, these, like, soldiers had real blicks. Like, you know what I'm saying? These, like, dudes or whatever. And they was dressed like soldiers. And they, like, actually, like, just actually, like, blew this man away. Like, they gave him that belt to X. For real though, man, that's crazy as ever, gang. That's on, bro. Anyway, so these cops started messing with the dude or whatever. He was like, sitting like, just like, pulled up, like, in the driveway or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, he pulled up in the driveway. He was waiting there for his woman or whatever, because his woman, like, his wife actually was actually like, taking care of her like 76-year-old grandmother or whatever, to see what's up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And anyway, the cops like end up showing up, start messing with this dude or whatever, and they live on the same street. The same street. He said he lived right there in that neighborhood for 20 years or whatever, and like they up there messing with him like he didn't like, belong there or whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? For real though, it was crazy, for real, gang. I mean, like, shoot. Anyway, one of them opened his door without his consent, for real though. And he said, close my door. You know what I'm saying? For real though. I mean, like, shoot, because dude didn't have no right to open his door. He just opened his door and just started, like, flashing his flashlight inside or whatever, like, you know what I'm saying? Dude what they're saying, just close his door or whatever, you know what I'm saying? For real though. So he was talking to him, and then he talked to the other cop that was right on his, like, right on the side, on the driver's side of his window or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he was up there just like, telling him like, what's going on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some crazy stuff, like. He was like, it was a traffic stop. And like, he said he wasn't even driving or whatever, So how is it a traffic stop or whatever, Then he turned to the other dude that had his door wide open. He like, close my door. So dude closed the door. He was like, yeah, that's right, close my fucking door. Real though. Anyway, so they out there like, just like, actually keep on messing with this dude or whatever, And like, the dude was like, just, he was like, give me your, let me get your identification or whatever. He didn't want to give him his identification. And he asked for a supervisor or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he got dude up at the car. Dude like, you don't gotta touch me, I'm gonna step up out the car or whatever, You know what I'm saying? He stepped out the car or whatever, and like, they put handcuffs on him, and he was like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It was crazy as ever. Around him. Anyway, so he was like, I'ma sue y'all. Then next thing you know, they like, pulled him onto the side or whatever. The other cop ended up doing illegal searches up in his vehicle. He was like, why you looking up in my vehicle, sir, when I'm on consent or whatever, Now saying he looked in his like wife's purse or whatever, That stuff was crazy as ever. His wife came downstairs, she wanted to see what was going on or whatever. Her grandmother was up there hollering out like, the side or whatever, You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was crazy as ever. You know what I'm saying? But for real though, their supervisor came or whatever, he wanted to see what was going on or whatever, You know what I'm saying? Like, but he was just actually explaining to her about what they did or whatever, And she, like, acting like she didn't want to, like, especially like, just abuse the situation or whatever, You know what I'm saying? She up there like, didn't want to hear her mom. She kept on walking away, whatever. She didn't want to make eye contact or nothing. And that's some crazy stuff. But he gonna do a lawsuit on them behind us, and that's on bro. Anyway, so these cops like mess with this man because of a bike light. A bike light. I'm for real. I'm serious, gang. I mean, like, he had his bike like on, and they still mess with this man or whatsoever or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. He said he had a like broken like hip or whatever, whatnot, and they sat him down on the ground or whatever. They said sit down on the ground or whatever, whatnot. He didn't want to sit down on the ground. But he sat down on the ground anyway. He said he had a broken back and a broken hip. Real though. It was painful for him. Real though. But he didn't make a false move. Because he already knew. if he make a false move, they would have did something to him. I'm already knowing, gang. You know what I'm saying? Just like they would have did something to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And this happened in September the 2nd in 2025. Real though. I mean, like, shoot, it was crazy, gang. It was really crazy. Real though. So, this dude, like, told this, like, cop his name or whatever when he said he went to the store to get some cigarettes and he got a cigar and all that. You know what I'm saying? Real though. Anyway, so the cop just, like, actually had him handcuffed and he patting him down or whatever without his consent or whatever when real though. He already said no when he said did he have weapons on him or whatever when but now he said he didn't have no weapons on him, but he didn't believe him or whatever. And then he go ask him his name when he sat on the curb or whatever when actually he gave him his name or whatever. Dude was pretending that he didn't give him his name or whatever. I mean, like, it was crazy, girl. I mean, like, for real though. And they, like, waited for hours and hours and hours and hours to give this man a sanitation because, just like I said, they want to see if the person go, like, not comply with them so they can get rough with it. You know what I'm saying? For real though. Anyway, so, yeah, then they, like, let him go. After they gave him the sanitation or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's it. He got, like, they messed with him again. Why? For jaywalking. Real though. And then they arrested him and kept him in, like, holding for 7 hours before they let him up. And that's all, bro. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the bell and notifications so you can see my last upload and my next post. And make sure I make another one tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like, gang. So long, farewell, goodbye.